final heavenly invitation for October 29th. This is the last time we will send this message. Open now before grace is withdrawn. A sacred date has been drawn in the heavens, October 29th, part not by man, but by the hand of the Most High. It is not a date randomly chosen, but a divine checkpoint, a final window before grace begins its slow withdrawal. The Spirit of the Lord has whispered through the veil, and His voice trembles in the unseen places. This is the last time this message will come. After this, silence will fall. After this, the door will close, as it did in the days of Noah. There is no second echo after this call. No repeated knock. This message does not come with human urgency, but with heavenly finality. What stands before you is not a suggestion, but a summons. And not all will feel it. Not all will hear it. It is for the remnant. It is for the watchful. It is for those who are still spiritually awake while others are asleep in distraction and delay. October 29th is not merely a date. It is a divine alignment, a celestial checkpoint, a sacred appointment. The heavens are not only speaking, they are releasing dispatches. Angelic messengers, armed with sealed scrolls of instruction, are moving across realms, seeking the obedient and warning the wavering. They carry the final whisper from the throne. Choose now. Those who remain busy, anxious, or caught in the noise will miss the sacred stillness required to hear. This message is not wrapped in thunder. It is clothed in the quiet urgency of God's mercy, a mercy that is soon to lift. Grace has a gate, and that gate has a hinge, and the hinge is now turning. You can feel it in your spirit, the tremble, the weight, the undeniable knowing that something is shifting. He who has ears, let him hear before grace withdraws. The Father is still extending His hand, but this is the final reach. The heavens are not playing. The angels are not lingering. The message is not optional. This is heaven's last invitation before the curtain is drawn. Type "I receive this warning" if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 555 is now circling your household. Father of lights, reveal what must be known before the clock strikes. This is not a message built on fear, but forged in fire. The air around you is not ordinary. It is charged, tense, trembling under the weight of what heaven has released. The final dispatch has gone forth. Not a letter, not a whisper. A divine decree, and it carries no echo. It will not repeat itself. October 29th is the line between the called and the cold, between the obedient and the oblivious, between the awakened and the asleep. As of this hour, the heavenly scrolls have been sealed and released. The Archangel Michael stands at the edge of heaven's gate, not with a trumpet, but with a sword drawn, eyes blazing, watching, waiting, watching for those still delaying their surrender, still teetering on the edge of obedience and comfort. The heavens will not wait much longer. The Spirit of the Lord has spoken clearly. This message will not come again. There is no time for back and forth. No time for another confirmation, another sign. This is the sign. The very fact that your ears are hearing, your spirit is stirring, and your heart is feeling this pull, that is the confirmation you were waiting for. But heaven warns, if you do not move now, you will miss the movement of grace itself. This is not a general announcement. This is a targeted release. Only those chosen to receive it will feel the holy weight settle in their spirit. For some, this message will pass like wind, unnoticed, unreceived. But for you, it burns. It presses. It demands an answer. You are not hearing this by chance. Your soul has been summoned. You were predestined to hear this call before your mother ever knew your name. This divine interruption is not punishment. It is protection. God has paused your plans, unsettled your peace, stirred your routine, because He is calling your spirit back into alignment before it is too late. October 29th is not just a date on your calendar. It is a gate in the spirit realm. A moment when heaven opens one final time before shifting into silence. Do you feel the weight in your chest? That is not anxiety. It is awakening. It is the Spirit of God knocking on the inside of you, saying, this is the moment you were created for. The door is still open, barely, but it is closing fast. This is not heaven pleading with you. This is heaven commanding you. Choose now. Delay is denial. Indecision is rebellion. Every angel is in position. Every trumpet has been muted, except one. This message is it. The last call before stillness. The final alert before the final selection. It's not for everyone. This message isn't dressed in entertainment. It's robed in urgency. If you still care more about being liked than being aligned, you will miss this. If you still prioritize being comfortable over being consecrated, you will miss this. But if you feel it, if your heart is trembling, if your spirit is shaking, you've been marked. You've been summoned. And heaven is now watching your response. So speak it out loud if your spirit agrees. I will not miss this move of God. I say why yes before the door closes. Because this message won't come again. Type why yes in the comments if this message burns in your spirit. Blessing code 1444 has now been activated over your destiny. There is a mystery in the air, not a mystery born of ignorance, but one birthed in the spirit. A sacred disruption. You have felt it. It moves through your thoughts like whispers in a fog. It pierces your dreams with strange symbols, repeated numbers, and unspoken warnings. Some nights, you wake with the sense that something was revealed, and yet you cannot explain it. You know something is happening, but you cannot name it. That is not confusion. That is divine tension. That is heaven placing weight where there once was ease. Even now, there are conversations in the spirit realm that your natural ears cannot hear. But your spirit catches pieces of it, through the eyes of others, the timing of dreams, the sudden emotional shifts in those around you. You hear the phrases echoing in the back of your mind. Something is about to happen. I can feel something coming. These are not mere coincidences. This is prophetic disturbance. The Spirit of the Lord has not been silent. He has been strategic. And in this moment, He is allowing the unease to increase, not to torment you, but to position you. You are being awakened from spiritual slumber. Heaven has not been withholding answers. It has been withholding access until obedience is unlocked. And now, the countdown to October 29th presses in, and every unresolved question grows louder. Why now? Why this date? Why does it feel like something unseen is about to break? Because heaven is shifting. And when heaven shifts, earth groans. This unease you carry is not demonic. It is divine. It is the sound of spiritual birth pains, the final tightening before breakthrough. Some of you are wondering why people in your circle feel different, act strange, pull back without warning. They are responding, knowingly or unknowingly, to this prophetic tremor. The Spirit of God is disturbing every false alignment, every counterfeit peace, every mask that has survived too long in your presence. This disruption is not random. It is surgical. There is spiritual gossip moving in unseen places, a divine exposure of who is truly for God and who is only pretending. Many who have stood close to the fire are now backing away, and you feel the sting of their absence. But it is not rejection. It is revelation. You are never meant to carry dead weight into a living season. You are being loosed. This is not punishment. This is not wrath. This is holy preparation. The Lord is stripping away every comfort that kept you passive. He is letting the mystery swirl so that your hunger will rise. He is allowing the emotional unrest so that you will seek the only place where clarity remains, His voice. And as the 29th approaches, the signs will not decrease, they will intensify. The numbers, the dreams, the unexpected silences, the spiritual echoes. Heaven is speaking through discomfort. So, if your world feels upside down, it is because God has turned it to face Him again. Do not misinterpret the mystery as confusion. It is invitation. And only those who respond will see what was hidden become revealed. Type "I will not ignore the signs" if you feel this message confirming what your spirit has sensed. Blessing code 777 is now loosed over your house. If this message pierced your heart, if the Spirit of God is confirming what you already knew in your soul, then know this: you are part of heaven's rescue mission. Every time you sow into this ministry, through a YouTube super thanks, by becoming a member, or by giving through the PayPal link in the description, you are helping awaken hearts before the door of grace closes. This isn't about helping a platform. This is about releasing light before the last trumpet. God says, as you sow, so shall you unlock. Every seed placed into this prophetic ground is like oil poured on the altar. It fuels the fire that ignites sleeping souls. I felt led to share this. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25, that is God speaking over you now. If you feel the pull, this is your own. Don't delay obedience. Support this message like a divine assignment, because it is. Sow into your own alignment and help someone else find theirs. Your seed is not a donation. It is a declaration. And heaven sees it. Heaven records it. Heaven honors it. Give now and receive the harvest your obedience demands. Command your harvest. Seal your support. Walk in blessing. There is a question burning in many of you. Why does it feel like everything around me is falling apart the closer we get to October 29th? Why does it seem like confusion, contradiction, and warfare have increased? Why is clarity being resisted from every direction? The answer is this: you are not under attack. You are under examination. This is not chaos born of the enemy's schemes. This is the refining fire of the Almighty, testing what is unshakable within you. You must see this moment for what it truly is. The disruption in your plans, the delay in your answers, the shaking in your emotions, these are not signs of divine absence. They are evidence of divine pressure. The Spirit of the Lord is applying weight, not to crush you, but to measure what in you remains firm when all else falls. He is not punishing your faith. He is perfecting it. You see, in this final stretch before the window of grace closes, heaven must reveal who is truly aligned and who is only attached. You cannot be elevated with unresolved attachments. You cannot be trusted with authority while you're still negotiating obedience. The Lord is drawing a sword between your past and your purpose, and it feels like warfare, because it is. But this warfare is not hell's assault. It is heaven's assessment. You are not being attacked randomly. The enemy is not in control of this battle. God is. And He is using this moment to prove what He already planted inside of you. The warfare you feel confirms the weight you carry. The tension you're under reveals the anointing trying to break forth. Do not misread the fight. It is not an indicator of defeat. It is the final test before the release. The greater the pressure, the closer the breakthrough. And make no mistake, this pressure is divinely timed before October 29th for a reason. The Spirit says, I am separating the voices that have led you into delay. I am silencing the distractions that have kept you in cycles. I am placing fire under your feet so you will no longer stand still in places I've called you to move from. The confusion, the delay, the unanswered questions, all of it has been allowed so that you would no longer depend on clarity to obey. You were never meant to walk by sight. You were called to walk by fire. Right now, angels are watching. The cloud of witnesses is leaning in. The courts of heaven are observing not your struggle, but your response. Every word spoken in frustration, every moment of silence and surrender, every act of obedience in confusion, it is all being recorded. Your reaction is your elevation. God is not watching the battle around you. He is measuring the stillness within you. Do not forget, even Job was not judged for his circumstances. He was judged for his response. Even Jesus was not crowned for his miracles. He was crowned for his obedience under pressure. So now it is your turn. Will you collapse under the weight of this hour, or will you rise with the authority God already marked you for? Heaven is watching, but not in condemnation, in expectation. This conflict is the final calibration before the crossing. This fire is the filter. This warfare is the witness. And those who pass through it without losing their faith, without letting go of reverence, without turning their back on obedience, they are the ones who will be sealed on the other side of October 29th. So declare this aloud. This is not an attack. This is a test. And I will pass it. Type I am unbreakable if you understand that your conflict is your calling. Blessing code 1919 is surrounding you now. Hear this clearly now. The atmosphere has changed. Something has shifted, not just around you, but within the throne room of heaven itself. Grace is not being removed in wrath. It is being retracted in completion. The season of prolonged delay, of gentle nudging, of divine repetition, is now coming to a close. October 29th is not just the end of a chapter, it is the sealing of a spiritual timeline. The Spirit of God is no longer speaking with delay. He is speaking with finality. Within 72 hours, says the Spirit, the separation begins. There is no more room for indecision. No more time to sit in the middle of two opinions. The line is being drawn, not in ink, but in fire. And heaven is watching who will cross it and who will crumble beneath it. The warning is not just for the rebellious. It is for the hesitant, for those who have heard the call, but delayed in their response, for those who knew what God said, but waited for conditions to become convenient. But now, the Spirit says, those who delay will find silence where favor once flowed. The gentle nudges will cease. The repeating signs will stop. And the heart that did not yield when grace was extended will no longer hear when judgment begins. There are movements happening now that you cannot see, decisions being made in secret, doors being closed without announcement, and alignments being tested in real time. Some of you have been sensing the shift in your relationships, in your finances, in your environments. Someone close to you, someone you never expected, is being tested, not for your destruction, but for your discernment. Will you remain loyal to what is fading, or will you stand with what is eternal? Heaven is not waiting for your understanding. It is waiting for your obedience. And now, as October 29th approaches, the pressure increases. The signs intensify. Sudden dreams with messages you can't shake. coincidences that feel more like divine instructions, weather patterns that seem to echo spiritual truth, a silence in certain places that once buzzed with activity. All of it, every bit of it, is heaven's trumpet, not sounding out loud, but vibrating in your spirit. You were never meant to live on explanations. You were meant to move by conviction. God will not explain again what he has already commanded. There is no more time to debate with your flesh. No more time to wait for collective agreement. This is not a group decision. It is a personal reckoning. And the heavens are tightening their grip. You will notice it. A heaviness in the atmosphere. A weight in your prayers. A divine press that will not let you rest. It is not anxiety, it is urgency. The trumpet is not a sound, it is a feeling in your spirit. And it is sounding now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. This message is not to provoke panic. It is to provoke action. Heaven is warning, not to instill fear, but to provoke faith. Because once grace lifts, it will not return for the cycle. What you do now will echo into what you face then. So make no mistake, this is the window. And it is narrow. You are being warned before grace withdraws, not because you are condemned, but because you are called. And what you choose to do with this final moment will determine whether you cross over or stay behind. Declare this now with holy authority. I will not delay. I respond before heaven retracts. Type I move with heaven in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 2929 is now pressing through your atmosphere. Be still now. Do not run. Do not strive. This moment was not meant to be fought through. It was meant to be surrendered into. While the heavens roar and the earth groans under the weight of divine pressure, the true command being spoken to the chosen is this: be still. It is not inactivity. It is alignment. It is the posture of those who know that heaven moves when they no longer try to manufacture answers. In these final hours before October 29th, divine protection is not found in frantic movement. It is found in obedience to the unseen rhythm of the Spirit. Many are being pulled into unnecessary battles, seduced by distractions, lured by urgency that is not holy but human. But the Spirit says, withdraw from the noise. Come away from the commotion. Hide yourself in my instruction. Because clarity does not rise in chaos, it emerges in consecration. You will be tempted to respond, to react, to defend yourself, to explain what God is doing in you. But that is not your assignment right now. Your protection is in your silence. Your defense is in your stillness. Heaven is not asking for your explanation. It is calling for your surrender. This is not the season to be loud. It is the season to be led. There is a holy hush descending upon those who are willing to come away from the swirl. The swirl of opinions. The storm of emotion. The noise of double-mindedness. Fast from opinions, says the Spirit, and return to stillness. That is where I will speak. That is where I will reveal. That is where I will hide you. Not in the thunder, but in the whisper. Let the Spirit reposition you. Stop chasing what God is trying to remove. Stop grieving what was only meant to be temporary. Some things are fading not because you failed, but because you obeyed. The door is not closing on your future. It is closing on your delay. And only those who know how to wait in stillness will receive the next command with clarity. Repeat this. Heaven fights when I am still. Say it until your body lets go. Say it until your emotions bow. Say it until every inner conflict comes into peace. You do not need to prove anything right now. You only need to posture your soul for protection. God is your defense. God is your lawyer. God is your judge. God is your witness. Every tongue that has risen against you will fall in silence. Every false alignment will collapse under divine pressure. But your response must not be flesh. It must be faith. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. This is the hour where stillness becomes strategy. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening in the unseen. Heaven's armies are already released. The angels are already surrounding your dwelling. The blood of the Lamb is already on the doorpost of your obedience. The command is not to fight. The command is to stay hidden until the shaking passes. Guard your heart. Guard your mouth. Guard your atmosphere. Every moment you stay surrendered becomes another layer of divine protection around you. The fire will pass, but not everyone will survive it. You will, because you are hidden in the cleft of the rock. You are wrapped in obedience, covered by stillness, carried by divine preservation. Speak it once more. Heaven fights when I am still. I will not move without instruction. Type I am hidden in Him if you choose stillness over striving. Blessing code 3131 has been activated over your atmosphere. You are not the same person who entered this year. Look again. Feel again. The trembling you once lived under has now become a trembling you carry in authority. You have been refined by fire, not consumed by it. You have walked through the shaking, and though your voice may have trembled, your spirit remained anchored. You may not recognize it yet, but heaven does. You have changed. This journey, this fire, this silence, this pressure, it was never for your destruction. It was your transformation. You are not being broken down to remain broken. You were being broken open to become what you were always destined to be. There is divine authority rising in you, and it is rising not because the battle ended, but because you endured while it raged. What others saw as your weakness, heaven recorded as your strength. The delays you called rejection were not denials. They were the training chambers of God. Every time you waited without answers, heaven was weaving strength into your spiritual DNA. Every time you remained silent while falsely accused, you were being clothed in the robes of royalty. Every time you obeyed while confused, your crown was being adjusted. Every moment you were overlooked, you were being overbuilt. And now, on the threshold of October 29th, heaven announces, it is time. Time to rise, not just in hope, but in power. You no longer need to apologize for the oil on your life. You no longer need to explain why you feel different, why you pray longer, why you cry deeper, why you discern faster. You have been marked. You have been processed. You have been prepared. And now you have been activated. The Spirit of the Lord is saying, they saw your breaking, but they will now see your becoming. Do not hide from it. Do not shrink from it. This is the hour to step forward in the full weight of your anointing. You are not a survivor of the storm. You are a commander of the winds. What you carried in fear before, you now carry in fire. What used to weaken you now wakes others up through you. You carry divine codes. You carry holy blueprints. You carry a spiritual authority that didn't come from applause, but from the altar. And those who once doubted your resilience will soon marvel at your resurrection. You will not return to old patterns. You will not bow to old fears. You are stepping into your divine strength, and the enemy can no longer speak your language. This shift is not a suggestion. It is a divine decree. You have been released into spiritual adulthood. The season of begging for breakthrough is over. The season of walking as the breakthrough has begun. And you will notice the change in how people respond to your presence, in how atmospheres shift when you speak, in how authority flows when you simply obey. You no longer carry survival. You carry government. The authority to speak, bind, release, and move according to heaven's timeline is now resting upon your shoulders. And it is not because you are strong. It is because you did not quit when you were weak. This is your divine reward. Not just to be free, but to lead. Not just to receive peace, but to release it. Say this now: I am not who I was. I rise in power. I move in fire. I stand in divine strength. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you feel this strength rising in you. Blessing code 4141 is now resting upon your crown. There is a revelation rising beneath the rubble of your trials, a divine unveiling that only those who endured the pressing can now perceive. You did not suffer without purpose. You did not wait without witness. You did not lose without heaven recording every cry. The battles you thought were detours were actually doorways. The storms you cursed were actually sent to strip you down, not to harm you, but to ready you. You wondered why the delay dragged so long, why heaven seemed silent while the warfare grew louder, why doors kept closing even when your heart was pure. It is because heaven had to wait until your soul was strong enough to carry what you were praying for. The timing was not punishment. It was prophetic strategy. October 29th is not the beginning of your breakthrough. It is the culmination of your crushing. This is your unlocking, says the Spirit of the living God. This is the moment your soul was prepared for, even when your mind could not comprehend it. Every time you said yes while shaking. Every time you sowed while stretching. Every time you praised while bleeding. Heaven counted it. And now heaven is releasing the reward for it. Your journey was not random. The delays, the betrayals, the isolation, they were all part of the preparation. God was not punishing you. He was positioning you. And this is what many miss. They see the warfare, but not the weapon it forged. They see the pain, but not the purpose. They see the delay, but not the divine preparation within it. Look closely now. Do you see it? That thing you thought disqualified you, it actually qualified you. That loss you thought ended your assignment, it actually activated your next phase. What the enemy meant to bury you, God used to plant you. And now you are rising with roots that reach deeper than anyone can see. Heaven delayed your breakthrough because the mantle on your life was heavier than your heart could carry at the time. But the crushing produced capacity. The confusion gave birth to clarity. The fire burned away false confidence and revealed the eternal flame of faith. You were not just being prepared for a moment, you were being formed for a movement. October 29th will mark the end of your spiritual drought and the beginning of divine deployment. The heavens have already judged your obedience and declared it sufficient. You were tested, and you were found faithful. You did not bow to fear. You did not abandon your altar. You did not sell your silence for validation. You endured, and now heaven will exalt. This is not the time to question what happened. This is the time to step forward into what it birthed. The pain, the pressure, the sleepless nights, they were all contractions of destiny. And now, the crowning has begun. What heaven withheld before is now being handed over. What you were not ready to carry is now resting on your shoulders. So lift your head. Your waiting was not in vain. Your tears were not wasted. Your surrender was not unseen. You are standing at the threshold of manifestation, the threshold of the prophetic fulfillment tied to your obedience. And the gates will not close until you have passed through. Declare it boldly. This is why the storm came. This is why I endured. I am ready for what I was refined to carry. Type "I was born for this" in the comments if you feel the revelation breaking open inside you. Blessing Code 5151 has been released over your assignment. If this revelation confirmed what your spirit has been carrying in secret, then this is not just a message for you. It is a mantle for others. Every act of support, whether through super thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the video description, becomes a prophetic seed that helps spread this urgency to those still walking in darkness. The word says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." Psalm 126:5. And many of you have wept while waiting. Now sow into the sound that carried you through. Don't just receive this word. Fuel it. Let the oil on your life become oil for others still battling in silence. This isn't charity, it's kingdom construction. Every seed supports the rescue of souls before October 29th closes the door of grace. When you give, you're not just giving money, you are giving mercy to someone who needs to hear this before it's too late. Heaven honors cheerful givers, but in this moment, heaven responds to obedient ones. And when you give into prophetic ground, you unlock prophetic return. Give now. Activate the harvest. Stand as a sponsor of the final call. The time for contemplation has passed. The hour for hesitation is over. Heaven is no longer asking you to observe. Heaven is commanding you to move. What has been revealed to your spirit must now be responded to with your obedience. This is not a season of passive faith. It is the hour of prophetic action. Destiny is not waiting on God. Destiny is waiting on your response. You must understand. The grace you feel now is attached to a gate. That gate has a closing time, and October 29th is the boundary line. This is the window. This is the final invitation. What you do in these final hours will determine what opens or remains sealed in the next season. Your obedience is not a private matter anymore. It is a spiritual transaction with eternal consequence. Declare it now, not in silence, but with the weight of heaven backing your voice. I accept the invitation. I align with heaven. I activate my assignment. Let the sound of your agreement rise above the noise of your doubt. Let the authority in your yes tear down every altar of fear and delay that has kept you paralyzed. You were not called to survive cycles. You were called to shatter them. Heaven does not move in response to potential. It moves in response to permission. And your agreement, your full surrender, is the permission that allows angels to be dispatched and blueprints to be unlocked. The scroll with your name on it is sealed until your spirit speaks, "Yes, Lord. I will go. I will build. I will obey." This is not about being qualified. This is about being willing. The Lord says, every step you take in obedience opens a gate that has been held shut by disobedience. That means every time you act, not just believe, not just pray, but move, a barrier falls. A blockage lifts. A gate swings open in the unseen realm. Heaven is not waiting to bless your dreams. Heaven is waiting to activate your obedience. This is your moment of divine alignment. Build what He told you to build. Speak what He told you to speak. Write what He commanded you to release. Move where He's been showing you to go. You've delayed long enough. The fear of failing is no longer an excuse. The fear of being misunderstood is no longer a covering. The mantle has come, and it demands motion. You will feel the atmosphere change the moment you step. You will feel the resistance break the moment your faith moves from the inside out. This is not about doing something dramatic. It is about doing what you were told, even if it seems insignificant to others. Obedience always looks small until heaven reveals the weight of it. What looks like a whisper in your hands is often thunder in the spirit. Understand this. You are no longer praying for alignment. You are alignment. When you step, systems shift. When you speak, atmospheres respond. When you act, the earth aligns with what heaven has already recorded. You are not just obeying. You are activating portals, assignments, and harvests. This is the hour of divine performance. What you sow now will multiply. What you move on now will multiply. What you obey now will open what you've prayed for, not later, now. The gate is closing, but the reward is rising. Heaven is watching. The scroll is ready. Your destiny is waiting for your decision. Speak it again. I say yes. I move now. I'm not waiting for heaven. Heaven is waiting for me. Type I am moving in obedience if your spirit is ready. Blessing code 6161 is now charged and waiting for your next step. While you were sleeping, something holy was happening. While you were weeping, something sacred was shifting. In the stillness of your nights, while the world moved unaware, heaven was negotiating on your behalf. Your tears did not evaporate into nothingness. They were gathered, counted, and stored in golden bowls by angelic hands. What you thought was a season of silence was a season of strategy. What felt like stillness was actually a secret exchange in the courts of the Almighty. Heaven has been working in whispers. Angels have moved in silence, not because nothing was happening, but because everything was too sacred to speak yet. You didn't miss it. You didn't lose it. You didn't disqualify yourself. You just couldn't see what was being transacted on your behalf behind the veil. But now, as October 29th draws near, the veil is thinning, and the evidence of the exchange is beginning to manifest. What was stolen from you in delay, says the Spirit, is being returned with interest. There are contracts in the heavens that have your name sealed upon them. Documents of divine promise, scrolls of prophetic inheritance. And now, in this final hour, those documents are being signed. Your obedience has activated the release. What eyes have not seen, what ears have not heard, what others assumed was lost forever, is being handed back, heavier and holier. This is not recovery. This is restitution. This is not restoration in part. It is divine overflow in full. And the transaction didn't require your striving. It only required your surrender. While you stood still, heaven moved. While you held your peace, heaven issued decrees. The silent nights of your suffering were the courtroom sessions of your future. Every accusation against your name was countered with a covenant. Every spiritual delay was met with divine acceleration. The Spirit of God is now releasing what was always yours, but only now is your soul strong enough to steward it. And in this sacred transaction, the old has been exchanged for the ordained. The ashes have been traded for beauty. The sorrow has been swapped for authority. The fear has been replaced with fire. This is not compensation. It is consecration for your next assignment. You were never forgotten. You were being recalibrated. You were never left behind. You were being rewired for greater. The shaking was not evidence of absence. It was the sound of spiritual construction. What seemed to delay you was heaven giving time for every enemy to move out of the land you are about to occupy. You didn't imagine the weight of the last few weeks. The restless nights, the strange dreams, the divine interruptions. They were not random. They were birth pangs. Your new season is crowning, and the Spirit of God is pulling it through, not by labor but by authority. The tremors in your spirit were proof that the shift had already begun before your eyes could catch up. This exchange is holy. This moment is sacred. What was hidden is being revealed. What was silent is now speaking. And your name is written on the scroll of fulfillment. No one can take it from you. No one can block what heaven has already authored. The gates are opening. Not with noise, but with permission, and your surrender has spoken louder than 1,000 prayers. So declare it now. I receive the silent exchange. What was delayed is now delivered. What was hidden is now mine. Type IT is being released in the comments if you feel the transaction in your spirit. Blessing code 7171 is now covering your scroll. There is a courtroom in the heavens, not built by human hands, not governed by flawed systems, but ruled by the righteous judge. And in that courtroom, your case has been presented. Your name has been spoken. Your suffering has been reviewed. Every false word against you, every betrayal you endured in silence, every delay that appeared unjust, it was all recorded in divine ink. And now, the gavel has fallen. Heaven has ruled in your favor. Spiritual justice is not coming. It has already begun. There is a divine reversal unfolding, and it is unstoppable. The same hands that tried to pull you down will now witness your rising. The same mouths that mocked your faith will now be silenced by your breakthrough. The very systems that were weaponized against you will now be used to elevate you. This is not fantasy. This is not revenge. This is the justice of the Lord, and it is holy. The Spirit of God declares, for every secret wound, I release visible restoration. For every delay inflicted by the enemy, I release double. Heaven is not negotiating with your adversaries. Heaven is overriding them. What they thought they buried is being resurrected. What they tried to sabotage is being sanctified. What they hoped would shame you is becoming the very stage where God will show himself through you. This reversal is quiet, but it is divine. You won't need to prove anything. You won't need to explain how or why. The evidence will speak for itself. The fruit will silence every critic. The favor will expose every lie. This is the season where God is going to vindicate you, not with words, but with weight. Not with clapping, but with crowns. Not with noise, but with unshakable peace that surrounds you like armor. You have endured injustice in silence. You have swallowed your tears behind closed doors. You have watched others be celebrated while you remained hidden, faithful, and forgotten. But heaven never forgets. The scales have tipped. The sword has been drawn. The tables have turned. And the vindication of the Lord is now moving with precision through your story. Those who judged your process will have to watch your promotion. Those who called your silence weakness will now witness it as authority. Those who dismissed your wilderness will see it was where your oil was pressed. God is about to make a public display of private obedience. This is not just about restoration, it is about righteous repayment. The years the locusts devoured, restored. The strength that was drained in warfare, renewed. The opportunities that were delayed by demonic opposition, returned with interest. You will no longer walk with your head down. You will no longer live in apology. You will no longer doubt whether heaven saw what happened to you. Heaven saw. Heaven recorded. Heaven has rule. Now, step into the reversal. Speak it until the heavens shake. For every tear, I receive tenfold. For every loss, I claim divine recompense. The justice of the Lord is not a hope, it is a promise. It is not an idea, it is a decree. And now that it has been released, nothing can stop it. Not people, not systems, not fear, not time. The sentence has been delivered. Walk in it now, not with vengeance, but with victory. Not with arrogance, but with awe. For the Lord your God has defended you, and his justice is perfect. Declare it with boldness. The scales are balanced. The tables have turned. Justice is mine. My reversal has begun. Type I receive justice in the comments if you feel the weight of reversal falling on your life. Blessing code 8181 has now surrounded your path. The message has been spoken. The sound has gone forth. The trumpet of heaven has released its final frequency, and now the decision rests not in the heavens, but in your hands. October 29th is not a deadline of fear. It is a doorway of decision, and you are standing in front of it with the full weight of divine truth pressing on your soul. You have heard the invitation. You have felt the urgency. You have seen the signs. And now, the Spirit of the Lord speaks with clarity. I have done my part. I have revealed. I have warned. I have extended grace. Now your yes must seal the rest. No more delays. No more excuses. No more wrestling with what you already know is true. The gate of grace has not yet closed, but the hinge is turning. You are not alone in this hour. Heaven surrounds you. Angels have been assigned to your alignment. You have been seen. You have been selected. You are now being sealed. This is not the time to fear what is next. This is the time to walk in it with reverence. The weight you feel is not oppression. It is the glory resting upon your decision. If you hear this voice, if your spirit bears witness, it means you are not too late. It means grace has found you one final time. It means you have been summoned, not to observe the move of God, but to become it. You are not being asked to climb into perfection. You are being invited into obedience, surrender, and movement. Let the world do what it wants. Let those around you delay. Let the lukewarm go their way. But as for you, you have heard the final call. And you will not close your ears to it. You will not harden your heart against it. You will not let this sacred moment slip past like the wind. Speak this blessing into your atmosphere. I receive the seal of heaven. I walk through the door of October 29th in obedience. I am covered. I am ready. I am aligned. And now, may the Lord bless you with divine clarity that cuts through confusion. May the Spirit surround your dwelling with peace that cannot be stolen. May the blood of Jesus seal every threshold of your life. May the angels of the Lord encamp around you and your household. May you walk in the power of your calling and the stillness of his presence. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not late. You are chosen, and your yes has now echoed through eternity. Type I am sealed in the comments to declare your final agreement. Blessing code 2922 is covering you completely. If this message became a mirror to your soul, if you felt the weight of heaven confirming your season and speaking to your spirit, then let your next move be one of honor and action. Every word spoken here is not just for you. It is meant to reach those who are still asleep in delay, still wandering without direction. You can help carry this message to them. When you give, through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or by sowing a seed through the PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving, you are igniting lamps in dark places. The Word of God says, "The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." Proverbs 11:25. And your act of obedience is not just refreshing others, it is unlocking rivers over your own life. This isn't a request for support. It's a divine opportunity to participate in the last cry before the gate closes. Your giving becomes a sound in the Spirit, a declaration that you stand with heaven, that you fuel the prophetic, and that you choose obedience when others choose silence. Let this seed be your response. Let it be your final echo of agreement. Let it be the prophetic act that aligns you with the fire of this message. Give boldly. Give prophetically. Give like the door is about to close, because it is. Seal your portion. Support the release. Step into your harvest.